storms, they're really just like a Band-Aid. So, you know, you've put them on, it's going to help a little bit, but you still have those really old windows that aren't very energy efficient. Now, another problem I hear from a lot of homeowners in your area, especially with the wooden windows, is that the wood over time, it can start to warp. You might notice that when you go to open it, it's kind of hard to open and close. It sticks a little bit. How many of your windows are you noticing that in?
Gail, I have noticed that it's very hard to open all of the ones that are left that are made of wood, but not all the time. Sometimes I can open them. Sometimes they actually fall down when I go to open them.
Okay, sure. I'm sure. Is it in the winter that you're noticing that they are falling right down, and then in the summer they're probably sticking a bit more? With the older wood windows, you know, they are susceptible to shrinking in the cold and then swelling in the heat. Now, this is a problem for a number of reasons. You know, in the summer, if you can't get these windows open, God forbid there would ever be a situation where you need to get out of the house and you couldn't get them open. You know, that's a huge concern right there. And then when they shrink and they're, you know, falling down on you, that's another safety concern. Now, with the swelling and shrinking, that's probably also happening with rot. How many of these are you noticed visibly are rotting?
It's funny you say that. We actually noticed rot when we were gardening about 2 months ago in 3 of the windows, but we've never seen it before.
Okay, yeah, it's good that you're noticing that now. The thing about rot is that it does get worse in time. Now, it'll spread to the frames and then it'll get into the foundation. And once it gets to the foundation, that's, you know, really expensive to rectify. So it is good that you're noticing that right now. You know, you'll be able to have the opportunity to fix it now and save yourself a lot of money. Now, how many of these vinyl windows are you noticing are just broken completely or not operable, anything with the mechanisms?
It's funny you mentioned that, Connor. I have 2 vinyl windows over the kitchen sink. They're crank out windows, but they won't crank open all the way.
Okay, I mean, is it an issue with the cranks themselves, or are they just getting stuck?
I don't think the gear is catching, because I can get them open maybe 3 or 4 inches, and then the knob just like spins, and sometimes it falls off.
Yeah, that's terrible. That is actually very common with like the vinyl crank out windows, is that, you know, they'll get halfway and then they just won't move anymore. And like we were talking about before with the safety hazard, God forbid you ever need to use that as an exit from your home. Now, another problem, big problem with the vinyl windows is over time you might start to notice something called pitting. Now, what pitting is right in between the glass there, you might notice like a white chalky powder coming loose from the windows. How many have you noticed that in?
I see it. Well, if we brush against the window on the outside, like if we were outside, you know, we're maintaining the flowers around the flower bed, and if we brush up against the side of the window, we'll get like a powder on our clothes on at least 4 of them on the north side of the house.
Oh, wow. Okay. So it does sound like you've got some sort of deterioration here. You've also noticed that some of the wooden windows are rotting as well. Now, moving over to the metal windows then, they're not going to rot, obviously. They're not going to, you know, fall apart like that. But a lot of homeowners with older metal windows will notice that they start to rust or corrode over time. How many are you noticing rust on?
It's funny you say that, Gail, because I didn't even notice it until I went to slide the windows. The metal windows go side to side, and I went to slide them earlier this year, and I heard like this creaking sound when they were moving along the track, and I looked, and they're all gooky on the inside.
Sure, that is a huge problem with that. Now, are you having to buy anything to take care of the rust and the corrosion?
My husband sprayed them all with WD-40,
oh, jeez.
But then it just got all soupy.
Yeah, no, we have heard a lot of homeowners that are trying to, you know, do the WD-40 to take care of that, but it's also just a concern because you don't really want to have that substance in the house. You're spraying it around inside, and you know, these windows, you're not supposed to have to upkeep them and have to go buy other things just to get them to work, right? I'm sure that's definitely a nuisance.
It is a nuisance, yeah.
Okay, and now, furthermore, with the metal windows, I know you were mentioning that the wood were sliding right down and we're having problems opening and closing. Well, metal windows, you know, they're outdated, they're extremely heavy. How many of these are you having problems opening and closing?
They are very hard to open and close because they are so heavy. Sometimes I have to wait for my husband to get them shut all the way.
Oh gosh, that's gotta be annoying, especially if you're already feeling the drafts coming through. Having the window completely open is gotta be annoying, and having to wait for someone just to close it. You know, I can certainly understand why you'd probably be fed up with that. Now, furthermore, with the metal windows, they also have often problems with the mechanisms because, you know, it is outdated. How many of those are completely broken or inoperable?
I don't know what's up with the tracks, Connor, but they'll creak when I go to open them, and then I don't know if the tracks are bent or what's happened to them, but they will not slide all the way like they used to.
A lot of times that can happen because of that rust or corrosion. A lot of times, you mentioned that sort of like gunky sort of material that's in there.
Yeah.
That could actually get in the way of the tracks and just prevent them from moving it.
Yeah.
And even if you're going to be using WD-40, you know, you're spending a lot of money just to upkeep and be able to move your windows, but it's still not going to do anything for it just because that corrosion is still happening.
I see.
Now, I don't want to offend you in any way or anything like that, but a lot of homeowners that I talk to with metal windows just kind of complain about the look of the metal windows. Would you agree with that? Or?
It does give a cold look to the house.
Yeah, it's sort of industrial, sort of. I've heard a lot of people describe it as. So, I mean, we definitely want to sort of update the windows and get it something that you're actually, you know, proud to look at and proud to look out of. So.
Well, the thing, we started updating with the vinyl, but Gail, I mean, it just seems like the vinyl kind of do the same things that the wood do, but they just don't rot, but.
Sure. I mean, vinyl, it always seems like a great solution because, you know, you've been dealing with the older wood and windows for so long, and, you know, vinyl comes along, it's, you know, the plastic, it seems like it'll be durable, but it is a cheaper plastic. You know, if, you know, we would be able to show you something that we have that's completely different. It's called Fibrex. It's our, you know, our patented product, and it is maintenance free. You know, you're not going to see the cracking and the warping, the chalking, and all the things that you're putting up with the vinyl. Now, it sounds like you were starting off with, you know, replacing with 2 different types of materials. Now you're trying a lot of different things. That's got to be a further eyesore. Not just that the metal, you don't like the look in itself. 3 different windows is kind of probably something you're hoping to maybe find just something that would match and make the whole home look good.
Yeah, I mean, Connor, that's how it started. I mean, when we first moved into the house 10 years ago, some of the windows were wood, like I said, some of them had storms on them so you could see metal on the outside. And then other windows were just all metal in the back of the house.
Yeah.
So we started replacing with the vinyl thinking, okay, we'll start with a few of the vinyl and then, you know, we can replace a few the next year. It just seems like the vinyl windows are going faster than anything else. And now I've got 3 windows on the house and you guys are saying Fibrex. I mean, then that's 4 windows on the house. I mean, it's just a lot to wrap my head around.
Well, we'd absolutely love to take a look at, you know, all the windows in your home and see if we can get something that can basically make your home, you know, all the windows in your home actually match. But how many windows total do you have in the home?
There's a total of 18 throughout the entire house, not including the basement windows.
Not including the basement
That's
windows.
right.
Now, these windows, are you including any sort of like bays or bow windows?
Yes, I am including, there was a bay window in the dining room. I counted that as 1.
Okay. All right, and in addition to that, do you have any sort of patio doors in the home, like French doors or sliding glass doors?
I do, Gail. I have 1 patio door in the sunroom.
1 patio door. Okay, what is that made out of? That wood, metal, vinyl?
That one's a vinyl one.
That is vinyl?
Yeah, that's a vinyl.
Okay, and have you noticed when you're opening and closing that, you feel that air coming through?
Yeah, at the bottom, Connor, when I'm standing by the door, like I'll let the dogs out in the yard to go play in the yard, and if I'm standing by the door, even with the door shut, I can feel the air on my toes.
Yeah, that's a huge problem with vinyl sliding glass doors. Vinyl, you know, it is better than wood because it's not quite as porous, but it does still warp, it does still swell and shrink with the temperature and everything like that. And especially with sliding glass doors, I mean, a lot of people, even if they don't notice it so much in the doors, they'll notice that the screen is starting to fall off. It's not even on the track anymore. Have you noticed that at all?
It's funny you say that. I've got this really kooky screen where if I slide it slow and I lift as I slide it, it will stay in the track. But anytime a friend or family member comes over that's not familiar with the door, if they go to slide it, Gail, it always falls off the track, and they always get scared that they broke my sliding glass door, and I have to put it back in the thing, and put it on the little wheels and get it back in the track.
Yeah, no, we've heard that, you know, time and time again, and often what happens too is, you know, if you're having those problems with the tracks and someone's going to go open that and you're not even aware that they didn't do it properly, who knows how long that would stay off the track for, and you'd be losing a lot more air in that circumstance too. You know, it could be a whole night you'd be losing air through that.
I see.
And now, what are you doing to you know, upkeep with the window? Are you just, or the door? I'm asking. You're just having to actually just put it back on every single time?
Yeah, we put it back on the track every time. And for the draftiness at the bottom, I've just kind of rolled up some towels and stuck them by the door.
Okay, geez. So it sounds like every single one of these windows and your doors, you're having to do different things to, you know, prevent the draftiness, even with the storms. Now, it sounds like we should find something for you that'll, you know, tie the whole house together, you know, give you one look, be, you know, maintenance free, ensure that energy. There's a list of problems that you're having. I'd really like to see if we could find something that, you know, show you what we have to offer that can fix all of these problems. If I could make a suggestion.
Okay, so you're tapping out for now? Okay.
Okay. And I just want to turn the conversation back to sort of your energy bills here. one thing I do want to ask, have you ever had an energy loss estimate done on these windows or the doors at all?
No, sir.
Okay, well, that's definitely something we can help you out with. That is one of the free services that we do provide during these consultations.
Mhm.
So if I could make a suggestion.
Okay. Are you tapping out?
Yeah.
All right. Is there anything you guys would like to add before we conclude the very last bracket? No? You guys did amazing.
High five.
Great job.